Shalom, shalom. Another Wisdom Wednesday. Your brother Azrael gonna give y'all some wisdom, hopefully. Um, we want to give all glory and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who sent his son as an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? This video is titled Secondhand Smoke, right? Wisdom Wednesday. Secondhand smoke, man. If we think about what secondhand smoke is, right? For a lot of Jake and Eve, you sons of Jacob and you daughters of Zion, sometimes we can be a little slow. And we know Generation Z, no offense, Generation Z is not the brightest tool or crayon in the coloring box. Secondhand smoke, right, is a health hazard that happens when you're around people that smoke and you ingest the smoke that they breathe out, right? It could damage your lungs, right? So even though they're hurting themselves, they're also hurting the people around them, right? But today we want to have a little spin off of that. The secondhand smoke we're talking about today is these scriptures, right? So this could also be titled secondhand scriptures, meaning, right? Sometimes in the, okay, so we're not supposed to hang out with, you know, um, bad company, so to speak, right? What fellowship does light have with darkness? Because they can end up dimming your light. You know what I'm saying? It's contagious, right? A little leaven leavens the whole lump. But we're going to talk about the flip side, right? Being able to show your light and being able to give some secondhand smoke or some secondhand scriptures to people of sin, right? With that being said, it happens all the time, right? He told us in Deuteronomy that if we would keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, that people, nations would look at us and say, surely this is a wise and understanding people, which they have done throughout the years, right? Um, so secondhand script or secondhand smoke, right? The definition I'm going to give it is things people say in the world, phrases people say in the world, things, mottos that people live by in the world that come from the Bible, right? And a lot of people might not know that they come from the Bible, but they're everyday sayings, right? Um, I do want to mention, for example, like my grandmother, right? Even she's not in the truth, right? But she believes she's living a genuine life of serving the Most High God. And she was a nurse, right? She was an LPN. She's now in her 80s, right? But she was an LPN. They weren't letting too many blacks be registered nurses back then. So she got in where she fit in, and it was still hard for her to get to that. But the Most High God blessed her to be in that position. Nonetheless, right, she ended up going to school or did her residency, I think, in New York or something like that. Nonetheless, she's got a lot of wisdom and experience in that area, and she's been able to help a lot of people, right? And there's been a lot of nations that she's dealt with in the medical field where she's been able to help them, right? And some things just came natural to her because why? Man, Israelites are tapped in with the Most High God. God tells us what to do a lot of the times, right? And we are wise for it. And people look at us like, dang, that's a wise people. Now, in today's day, they don't really look at us like we're wise people, but they still do, right? We know they still watch us, our every move. We know we still push culture. We know we still push trends, right? They watch us, right? They have whole marketing teams to target us, right? As a customer base, as an audience base, right? And I say that to say, um, the Most High is still dealing with us in certain ways, right? So I got some scriptures pulled up, man, to go over this, right? We're gonna get some secondhand smoke, and there's plenty, but I just got a few, right, just to go over this, some wisdom, right? But secondhand smoke, man, we're gonna get high off life, and we know that life and Deuteronomy is these law, statutes, commandments, right? He said, choose life, right? New wine congregation of Israel. Shalom to the mighty kings, right? Uh, Especially that brother Obadiah. That brother is He's waxing mighty and mightier these days. Con. So hey, secondhand smoke, man. We finna get high off life, high off of these scriptures. He told us to choose death or choose life, or choose good or choose evil. And we're getting high off life. We're not getting high off of nothing else, right? These laws, statutes, and commandments. Another example would be, before we get into it, another example would be um Salakia, Esther, right? When Queen Vashti didn't want to come down, when Artaxerxes called for her, guess what happened? He made a decree in the land and said that all women must be submissive to their husbands. Now, I'm led to believe he had some Israelites on his council who might have gave him that idea, like, hey, in our laws, this is how we go about it, so they don't embarrass us like that. Because at the time, if you read the book of Esther, right, all the kings and princes were nervous because they were like, oh, if Queen Vashti can say no to the king, then all our women are gonna say no to us, right? Because she was like the top women. So that's why we see nowadays they'll have our women like Beyonce's and stuff like that. That's high up, those upper echelon women, right? Push the agenda of independence, even though they have husbands, even though they have boyfriends, and we see our women fall behind it, right? That's the opposite. That's the secondhand smoke we don't want to smoke, right? But getting straight into it, man. Let's see this definition. It says secondhand smoke exposure occurs when people breathe in smoke breathed out by people who smoke or from burning tobacco products, right? So, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about what the righteous breathe out to make the unrighteous breathe in, right? And so that they can get a little bit of that word in them, right? So, they'll be going throughout their days and reciting scripture and don't even know it, because that secondhand script, man, that secondhand smoke from the righteous. Let's get into the first one. So the first one, I know a lot of y'all, you when you was growing up and y'all was horse playing, or when you guys were, you might have been at a family reunion or a family funeral or something. And as kids, you play around a lot, and you know what the adults say, what the teachers say, hey, it's a time and place for everything, right? You might have got caught in the movie theaters making out, or did something you shouldn't have. It's a time and place for everything, right? So that's why we go to Ecclesiastes, because we know that Ecclesiastes 3 says this. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, right? So that phrase really came out of the Bible, man, and it's just got normalized as secondhand smoke, right? Everybody says it, don't even know it came from God, right? To everything there is a season. All right. There's a time and place for everything. I know y'all have heard that before, right? That's one. All right. So this next one, it says, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people believe in karma. And when you think of karma, or when somebody does something bad, right? They say, hey, what goes around comes around, right? What goes around comes around. We've all heard that. We've all heard that phrase, right? Right? We might have said that when we felt like we couldn't get revenge on somebody, or we felt like somebody needed to be taught a lesson, but you didn't want to teach it, right? You didn't want to get your hands dirty. So we end up saying what goes around comes around. You might have heard it on movies, but hey, look, secondhand smoke from the Bible. They got it from the Bible, right? Galatians 6 and 7 says this: be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. A lot more poetic than what goes around comes around. But, you know, whatever you sow, you're going to get it back, right? Also in Second Esdras, it says what? Or First Esdras, it says what? He likens his judgment like a ring. What goes around comes around. That ring, what you started this part in the ring, and you got to come back to it, right? So these ideologies, or these phrases and these mottos that people go by, they're coming out of the Bible, man. And it's everyday phrases, right? Let's get another one. Now we know this one. You might get mad at your parents, right? You might try them, when you're of age, you know what I'm saying? Or you might try one of your grandparents, and this phrase happens, right? Everybody's heard this phrase. You might have heard this phrase in school too, right? Respect your, you said it, respect your elders, right? Where's that coming from? That principle is all throughout the Bible, but I'll just get one that everybody knows. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Right? Respect your elders. Right? I know a lot of us are still hearing that till this day. Right? I know our parents are still hearing it from their parents till this day. Respect your elders, man. That's secondhand smoke from the Bible. Right? And all of this is good wisdom, man. They became normal phrases in the world for a reason, because it's good wisdom, right? If you abide by these phrases, that your life will be a little easier. And the next one is um, do as to others as you would have them do to you. Right? We hear that phrase all throughout school. They raise us so they got stickers and posters on the wall in school, right? We even hear it in some of our jobs, even as adults. They be telling us, right, how we want to be treated. You treat somebody that way, right? We know that came out the Bible. So let's get it. I was going to go somewhere in the New Testament, but I want to let y'all know the New Testament got it from somewhere, right? They learned it from somewhere, and it's the law. Let's go to Leviticus 19 and 18. It says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So, hey, look, if you love somebody as yourself, you're going to do as to them as you would have them do unto you. Right, this is a little quick Wisdom Wednesday, secondhand smoke or secondhand script. Man, I hope you guys were encouraged. I hope you guys were, I hope this gave y'all something to think about. And I hope you guys, as you go throughout your day, make some of your own phrases normal, that if you got the juice like that, that they catch on, right? Or think about some more and leave it in the comments, right? Some normal phrases that's happening in the world that you've heard all your life that may have came from the Bible, right? But with that, I'm Azrael. This was a Wisdom Wednesday with the hopeful elect. Man, you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. Please do that, man. It's encouraging to see more people in tune every now and then. We don't do it for the views or the likes, but it's encouraging, right? So with that, say shalom.